YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and you're not going to hear any sound or anything yet on the game, and it's because I'm actually tabbed out of the game. Looking at the Total War website, the wiki site for the Total War, where they post the patch notes, and it's because there has been a hotfix and festival update, is what they're calling it. So I guess Festivus has made it to Rome 2, pretty exciting. And I guess you'll maybe get that joke if you were a Seinfeld fan, which might show you just how old Air is. But in any case, no, so they made a hotfix to Rome 2, which has at least a couple of pretty interesting changes to it in my mind. And I'm going to run through those with you right now. If you want to go look at it for yourself, I will put a link in the description both to the patch notes and to the forum post that CA made. So actually, let me start off by reading the forum post. It was made by Joey CA. And it says, hello all, if you're noticing an update to your game, that's because we've just implemented our hotfix and festivals update, patch 13.1. It will address some issues following the release of Pirates and Raiders, as well as adding some new events to your campaign to celebrate the approaching summer festivities. For full patch notes, please click the link below. I'll have that in my description if you all want to see that link. And it says, what is more, patch 14 is currently undergoing final internal testing and will be with you as an open beta soon. And it says if you experience any issues, of course, go to the support forum where you all can put in the items that you may have noticed once they've done this hotfix. So a hotfix is not a patch beta. It's everybody who has Rome 2 got it. It's already running. And there's a few interesting changes they made, and I'll run through those now. And I'm going to talk about the key ones first, and then I'll read through some of the more minor ones. And this is key in my opinion. Maybe you all see something that's bigger. One that says cavalry can now break away from infantry less easily in all battles. Less easily, which means that supposedly, from what we hear from CA, if you go read further into that forum post, that is the end of the pull-through issues that people were seeing, where you could pull your cavalry through infantry with little or no penalty. I will test that here for you. Unfortunately, I'm going to be forced to test it against the AI because I didn't see any of my friends online at the moment. And by the way, I need some folks to help me test the game from time to time. And to be honest, I'm thinking about starting a unit-based series on my channel, and I'm going to need folks to help me test different units. And what I'll do is probably just from time to time host a battle on the playlist, and I'll give it a certain name so you all can recognize it. But that will most likely be taking place in the evening U.S. Central Time. So if you were anywhere near that time zone and free in that time and want to help, that'd be great. Shoot me a note in the comments to this video, and essentially all I would need you to do is just to help me test units and mechanics in the game so that I can make a video about it and post it on YouTube. You get to cameo in the video. I mean, that's great, right? I mean, other than having to listen to Air. But in any case, no, yeah, so I'd love to have your help. But let's go ahead and run through some of the improvements that they talk about. So yeah, cavalry now break away less easily, and again, as I saw in the post, CA mentioned that is supposed to do away with the pull-throughs, which were frustrating a lot of people. If you didn't see the pull-through, Prussian Prince made a good video about it. I'll try and link to that one. I've linked to it before. Go watch what was happening, and then watch what happens in my test. I think you'll see a difference. It says they also increased the cost of armored elephants. I'm actually pretty excited about that, and here's the reason why. Armored elephants are extremely easy to run amok. Just like other elephants, they've made it to where it's pretty easy to run them amok. The problem with armored elephants is they're extremely difficult to kill. So in Rome 1, when you ran elephants amok, they would kind of take like this random path. And sometimes they would run through their own men, sometimes they wouldn't. On Rome 2, it's like if you shoot arrows at elephants and run them amok, it sets them on an angry collision course for the unit that ran them amok. Like they come straight for you. So the problem is actually running elephants amok is actually worse than killing them, because they'll just go nuts all over your men, and your opponent doesn't have to micromanage them going nuts all over your own men. In fact, a lot of times I like it when they run my elephants amok because they end up getting more kills. Now, because the armored ones are so much more difficult to kill, I think that makes them a lot more powerful, and I'm actually kind of glad that they raised the price. Is it a good move or is it not? I think time will tell, but I think we've all seen these guys being pretty powerful still for the cost. Like, to be quite honest, I mean, even at the high cost that they are now, or they were before this, I felt pretty comfortable knowing that I could wreck an entire line of sword infantry with one armored elephant, like no problem. And I've done it before in my videos even without armored elephants. So I'm actually kind of glad about that one. Post your own comments about what you think. You don't have to agree with me. And let's move on to a few. There's this interesting note here. It says, wind will now affect more particles, e.g. smoke will be blown in the wind direction. That's kind of neat. That'll be more like what we saw in Napoleon and Shogun 2. Let's see. And then here's one of the ones they said the festivities update. It says added 9 new seasonal festival events across all campaigns. And I read all through the forum post. You can read through it yourself. CA makes some follow-up comments and basically say that they don't want to tell you what all these festivals are. They're like, hey, go play your game. You'll see them. It'll be fun. So for whatever it is, there's some certain festivals and stuff that can occur during the campaign. As we see it when I play, we'll take a look at it, or as you all find it, feel free to let my viewers know what you're finding. I don't know what it means, and I don't know exactly what it entails, but hey, something to add to campaign there. Let's see, some of the other... Okay, so here's the other huge one that makes a big difference to me. It says bonus versus large added to Romphaia and Falx. I don't know if I said that right, sorry. It's Rhomphaia and Falx. I think the two weapons are similar. I believe the Romphaia, or however you say that, is a kind of larger pole sword version of the Falx. I could be wrong, but I think that's what I was hearing. But anyway, they get a bonus versus large, which means that as if Thracian nobles weren't dangerous enough to cavalry, now they're extremely dangerous because they have a hidden bonus versus large. When you go look at these units, you will not see a bonus versus large listed in their stats, but it was listed on the forums as being 15 for Falx units and 25 for the Romphaia unit. Or again, however you say it. If I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. I'm not real familiar with the weapon itself, other than seeing it in the game. But yeah, so Thracian infantry don't have any spears to support them other than those mercenary hoplites, so I'm assuming that was the reason they added that to Thracian infantry. Their melee defense is still low, and their armor is low on the Falx units as well, so dealing with them with missiles is going to be your best way to go, because to be quite honest, unless you're getting a rear charge in, the Thracian infantry is going to do very well at holding your cavalry from the front, assuming that you don't get a clean charge. So yeah, be careful about your cavalry around Thracian infantry at this point. Or I say Thracian infantry, any Falx or Romphaia armed unit. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Another note they make here is buffed Thracian peltist in melee. I don't know how much they were buffed or how big it is. We'll take a look. And it says Illyrian hoplites and noble hoplites now have the hoplite wall ability. Now that's big because those guys have huge armor for their cost. And adding hoplite wall and being able to jack their melee defense through the roof is going to actually make those units fairly capable of holding people off for a long time. So that'll really help out the RDI faction, which they needed anyway. And there was one other note here that I don't really know what it means. It says fix for Illyrian raiders having wrong armor type. I don't know if that means like visually they had the wrong armor type, or like the numbers were wrong. I don't know what that means. And it also says fix for raiding horsemen having the wrong shield type. Again, not really sure what that means. I said I was going to read all the rest of these notes, but there's quite a few here, and I don't want to waste too much more time. They did also add naked warriors to the Nervii unit roster, which I guess will give them slightly more depth. But yeah, go check out the links in the description. Let's get back into Total War Rome 2 and run a couple of tests. But first, let's take a look at a couple of the units that I just mentioned. Again, the Falx and Romphaia units, they're not going to be listed here as a bonus versus a large, but it is there, so that was confirmed. And that's going to be any of these Falx units here, or the Thracian nobles, Thracian warriors. These units armed with those weapons mentioned will be deadly that way. Let's take a look at Thracian skirmishers. It says fixed their melee attack, or buff them in melee. I don't really see a huge buff to either one of those units. Are they talking about a different faction? Maybe Getae? Maybe it was these Thracian peltist? Dacian heavy skirmishers seem the same. I don't know where they were getting at with these, the boost to the Thracian skirmishers. If you all know, let me know. I haven't really noticed what the big difference is, and it may have been a small tweak that I'm just not noticing. I don't recall. And then let's take a look real quick at the RDAI, because they said they changed. Illyrian Raiders armor is 50. I think they already had armor 50. Let's take a look at the armor, 25 and 25. Huh. Not sure what they changed there really either. It may have been a visual thing. So Illyrian Noble Hoplites, these guys now have the Hoplite Wall that's going to be exciting. And same thing with the just regular Illyrian hoplites. That makes these guys a pretty versatile unit, actually. Interesting. So let's test the pull-through. And you know what, the RDAI will be a good faction to do the test against. So I can't tell the computer to pull through my units, so I'm going to allow the computer to be the, well, I'll call them the attacker, I guess, so that they want to come after me. But I'll be going after them as well. So let's pick Rome. They've got some pretty straightforward, decent melee cavalry. We can test some other units if you all really want to. I'll bring 4 legionary and 4 praetorian, and then let's give the RDAI just a nice line of noble hoplites here. And we can test a lesser unit, and I'll give them some skirmishers too, so that we can try and pull through to get to their skirmishers, which is what people typically did with these pull-through type armies. So let's kick this off. The AI is really good about bracing, typically. Watch them not do it, now that I've brought them into a video where I expect them to. But I was going to try and test this against people. Again, like I mentioned, though, I was having an extremely hard time. Like, I had several people join my match. I was like, hey, you want to help me test? And they either didn't write anything back to me, or like, I don't know what that is, and left. So I was just having bad luck to get anybody to participate with me tonight. So it looks like the AI put their skirmishers on the flank, frustratingly. So whatever, we'll still just try and pull right through the center. Their infantry slingers are going to have minimal effect on my cav. And of course now the AI is breaking up its formation. Maybe I should have just put them on defensive. They should brace as soon as I attempt to charge them. So I'm going to go ahead and give some charge orders.
We are losing ground.
And then we'll just try some like walk-through orders as well. But I've got charge orders coming here, just, standard depth, nothing special. AI is at pretty standard depth as well. And they are bracing. AI did brace. My men have impacted. Let's see if we can pull through. Wow, I'm getting guys around the flank over here. You can see the guys funneling around the flank or through a gap. But the ones that are caught on the front of the hoplites are having a pretty hard time getting through. And look, I've already got 2 cav units wavering. Still trying to pull through, Yep, lost all my cav. So, yeah, lost all my cav trying to get to their slingers. I mean, I got a few kills with my cav, but not many, and they got chewed up. But of course, that was just legionary cav. This unit's still alive. Actually, it'll rout in a second. Let's try the same thing with my praetorian cav, which is a much heavier elite cavalry. Both of these are melee cav, by the way, for the people maybe not familiar with the game. Okay, AI is going to go back and brace. They're behaving for me right now. Okay, so here comes our heavy melee cav. AI was braced. They're going to re-brace. Okay, good. I mean, I want them bracing. Okay, I'm trying to pull through again, only getting a few men through the gaps. Not really having a whole lot of success. Praetorian cav, though, pulling through better. Not all that many losses on this unit either. I mean, I'm only taking about 10 losses to get it through. But I mean, you can definitely see that they're having a lot harder time to get through. The AI did not even activate shield wall either. Or hoplite wall. And I'm actually taking massive damage on these Praetorian cav over here. I did get some of my units partially through. Let's see if they would actually charge after a slinger unit. I mean, yeah, I took some substantial losses, over half of the men, and basically all of those units before I got through. And this unit's still pinned down back here. I'll just try and just run straight through them this time and see what happens. Since I'm not charging, the AI won't brace. Sometimes they will, not often. Here they braced. Yeah, I mean, it's just stopping my cav dead, and the only guys that are getting around for the most part are the ones that are going around the edge of the unit. See how those guys are getting outside the unit? The ones trying to go straight through the center are having a very difficult time. So, I think it's possible that people could pull a few cavalry through here and there, but, I mean, when you look at the kills, even on my Praetorian cav, it's not very impressive. And yes, they were against Illyrian noble hoplites, but still, I mean, clearly there's an improvement in what's going on there. I don't know what I think so far. I mean, not many Illyrian hoplites died. Let's retry this test. And let's test it with just standard hoplites and see what happens. And I'm going to switch the computer to defender, actually, to see if they'll be even more static, so that I can really get a good pull-through test. Give them a ton of hoplites, a few slingers. Okay, got my cav army here. I may bring even just a few more cav just for the sake of extra testing. Okay, there we go. Alright, start the battle. It doesn't seem like my cav got near as many kills against the hoplites there either. May have something to do with that mechanic. I don't know. Because it seems like melee cav actually would get quite a few kills against hoplites prior. Again, I'm just speculating here. I haven't proved anything yet. Let's try a more dense formation this time. So I'm going to take these 4 guys, lead them up front, put these guys here. There we go. Alright. So the Illyrians are very much static this time. So this ought to be a good test. Just a medium spear unit. And we're going to test out medium cav and heavy cav. I guess legionary cav is technically heavy cav, but it's kind of medium, I guess. I don't know, actually I think it's medium. It says heavy, but seems medium in my mind. Let's try something different this time. Last time I gave attack orders. Let's just try running through the hoplites. I don't know how the computer will respond to this, because normally they brace whenever you're going to charge them. Let's just... And we'll try it with both Praetorians and Legionaries. Just try raffle stomping our way right on through here. All enemy units are perfectly braced right now. Like, perfectly braced. Oh, now they're gonna move. Come on, sit still, you dummies. Stupid computer. Well, they did end up turning their back to me. Wow, my guys just stopped dead on the front of there. I'm gonna start to pull through. Again, I'm getting men through gaps, but not easily through the hoplites themselves. Taking losses. Rate of losses is accelerating.
The men are wavering.
I mean, yeah, that's not working good. And that was even with the AI kind of breaking their formation right before I attacked. So I think it's pretty clear that that pull-through is much more difficult to accomplish at this point. It's not to say that you couldn't get men around gaps or around the side of a unit. There's one last test I'll try and do at the end of this. Let's go ahead and do one more just run-through test with these Praetorian cav. I'll just try and run through the blob. Look at all the horsemen, or like horses, fleeing the battlefield. I've never seen spears in Rome 2 kill cavalry that fast, except for in these circumstances, so I really am thinking that this has been improved a great deal. Because I've seen people charge headlong into spears and just keep fighting like it was nothing, so we'll see. Let's watch up close. I've just given my men a run order here. Again, the AI is going to move towards me, unfortunately, which is going to reduce their bracing, but still a dead stop for my horse units instantly. I'm going to start the pull through. I'm going to go ahead and turn the flags back on so you can see whether I'm succeeding. This is Praetorian cav, so very heavy cavalry. And it is getting fairly well munched by those hoplites. Yeah, I mean, I'm taking heavy losses pulling through here. I am getting some men through eventually. But, I mean, I'm paying a dear price for it. These are half the cost, or a third, yeah, half the cost of my Praetorian cav, and I mean, I'm losing my men trying to get through. I mean, let's see if I could actually charge and make them go through. Yeah, I mean, like, I could force them through and charge here. So, I mean, eventually you could have people pulling through, but, I mean, that is a pretty dear price to pay. The enemy would probably lose all their cavalry trying to do it. So, and again, this is some of the heavier cav in the game as far as melee defense. Good armor, good melee defense. Not the heaviest, but a decent example, to say the least. Alright, so one other thing I wanted to try here was, let's try disengaging. So what I want to do here is charge an enemy unit with some cavalry and then try and disengage in the opposite direction, because it's supposedly harder to disengage from any enemy infantry, and I don't see any real problem with cavalry charging in and then retreating in the same direction, and I'm just curious how that's affected by this. we'll just charge a couple of different hoplite units here. So I've got my attack orders, and we'll just charge and retreat. See what happens. So basically I'm trying to validate whether or not you can still cyclo-charge without taking massive losses, because that's something that's going to need to be understood in order to be successful. AI is braced. Charge occurs, pull straight back. Charge occurs, pull straight back. So it looks like you can still pull straight back. I still took 10 losses doing it. And again, this is against the AI on normal, where I don't think they get any particular buffs. So, yeah. Interesting. So apparently the charge and retreat is going to be a little more costly now. It just honestly strikes me that spears are going to be a little more useful. Now, again, Illyrian hoplites are heavily armored spears. They're not lightly armored spears. Don't know how that's going to play out, but it looks like at least that the heavily armored variety of spears are becoming much more potent versus cavalry. So interesting. Let's go test one other thing here. So we're going to concede defeat, head back out. So the Falks and other troops that have been given a buff versus cavalry, let's give that a test. So we'll actually switch the AI back over to attacker, and let's test a couple of different units. First we'll go back over to the Odrysian Kingdom. I'm going to bring one group of Thracian warriors and then another group of Thracian nobles. And this is just you know, again, test. Let's put the computer as Rome. And in this particular test, we're going to feed them legionary cav. And it's because I'm mainly wanting to test the Thracian warriors here to see how they do against a heavy cavalry charge. And I'm not bringing elite cav because the Thracian warriors aren't elite. I did bring my Thracian nobles just to mop up the remaining legionary cav if they defeat me, but again, this is going to be just more of a test of curiosity. Let's get pretty dense ranks to resist cav charges with bracing. We'll just move up here and try and tempt the Romans into engaging only my lighter infantry. I believe these guys are armed with that Rumphia or Rumphia, or however you say that. I don't know what it's called. Alright, halt. Brace. Okay. Roman cavs bringing a charge in just like I want, except for the ones going to the flank. No, they're coming straight in. Okay. Romans come straight in. I'm braced. Should give me the best possible counter. Now, my Thracian warriors are 420. Roman legionary cav is... Now, they are going to be boosted by their general's presence a little, but this will be interesting. They're actually pulling out of that engagement there. Didn't take too many losses. This legionary cav is taking severe losses, and so is that one. And this one's starting to. So, I do not believe that these Thracian warriors would have performed this well prior to this update against cavalry. They should have a 25 bonus versus cav now, based on their weapon. So, this means that the Thracians can now actually protect themselves from cavalry a little better, which means that I think that missiles are going to become your go-to to fight against Thracian infantry. I keep saying Thracian. Falks and Rumphia armed infantry, you know, whatever it's called. So, yeah, I mean, you can see my guys actually chewing these guys up. I did not expect this outcome. And the AI is doing a little bit of goofy pulling in and out, but they got a clean charge off in the beginning. Seems pretty clear. Yeah, so my Falksmen actually wrecking more expensive cavalry there. So 4 legionary cav and a general without very substantial losses. Not going to be completely conclusive because of the fact that I'm using the AI as a test. It's still interesting. Interesting indeed. So one last test I want to do, and I believe these guys could already do it based on their attack, but I was already beating down Campanian cav with Thracian nobles. I want to see if that still holds true. So I'll bring Carthage here. And we're going to bring 4 mercenary Campanian cav. Now Thracian noble cost more than the Campanian Cav. So money-wise, killing it seems pretty fair. I think if anything, if people do get mad at this, which I'm not sure how I feel about it yet, to be honest, I got to see how it plays out. If you are mad at it, I think the reason that you are is probably because these guys are so good against infantry that you probably hate to see them be so good against cavalry as well. It would be like, for instance, Matchlocks and Shogun 2 being armed with the Naginata for self-defense or something. I mean, like, they would be too good. So I don't know. Again, I'm not real concerned about it at the moment because these guys cost so much. I mean, if there were cheaper units that were doing this... Whoops, sorry. Pause. See if the AI is going to outflank me. No, they're going to go ahead and charge in.
Our general is under attack. We'll kill them all.
I'm going to go ahead and pop Headhunt. I actually misspoke the other day. I told you all that Headhunt makes your men tired. It does not. There is no fatigue issue with Headhunt. It's Frenzy that causes the extra fatigue. So if your men are fatigued, it doesn't hurt you to use Frenzy. If you're wanting to keep them from being fatigued, you won't want them to use Frenzy. Alright, so Mercenary Campanian Cav getting quite a few kills, but also taking some serious losses. And I don't know about you all, but I don't see this kind of Cav die this quickly to anything else other than pikes. And I'm not even sure it dies that fast to pikes. That's pretty impressive. I mean, it probably would die faster than that to pikes, but I mean, you all get what I'm getting at. That's an impressive rate of kill, especially for an anti-infantry capable unit. Rome 2 does not have any other units that are going to be good at anti-infantry and anti-cavalry. So, absolutely impressive, because Mercenary Campanian Cav are absolutely brutal. Between them and Aspis Cav, I mean, just brutal melee Cav. So the fact that they can beat these guys down with fairly little issue, I mean, they're going to have half their men remaining. Most units, more in some. I mean, that speaks, because, yeah, these units cost fairly close to the same amount. So, wow. Yeah, so beware, beware horses of the Faux and the Romfea. It is not your friend. And I can see how that weapon would be dangerous to cavalry. But I don't know how it was used historically. Again, I'm just saying I could see how it would happen. Just throwing that out there. So some interesting changes there as far as things to expect in multiplayer. Let's go look at the price of Armored Elephants. I want to say they were 1,700 talents. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments, folks. Check the comments in case Air got it wrong there. Bactria. Armored. Whoa, 2,100. Wow. Yeah, that's... Or were they already... Man, I don't remember what their price was. If someone could remind me, that'd be good. I wanted to say it was like 1,700 or 1,800. That's a pretty substantial price increase. I think it's good. I really do. Because that's still a very dangerous unit in the right place, the right time. Yeah, that's a pretty substantial difference. I mean, but it is a very powerful unit. That armor is insane. Just insane. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this. Hopefully I gave you a little information about the some of the changes that came your way. Again, check the description for the links to the wiki page for the patch notes and to the forum to see CA's post. You can read through the rest of the post there. There's a lot of good posts there. And if you're looking for Total War information in general, the forums are a great place to go. Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing off for now.